as a pardon attorney during the Biden administration, you recommended actual commutations for Daniel Troyer and Ricardo Sanchez Jr., who were sentenced to death in 2009 after executing a family of 4.
Several of your colleagues asked me about those recommendations.
But this is my turn to ask questions. Those 2 little boys were shot 10 times, and their mother was shot 11 times, and their father was shot 5 times. That doesn't sound like to me that you stand up to bullies. It sounds like to me you stand with them.
The real controversy is not whether these killers deserved sympathy, it's whether Biden-era clemency recommendations went too far. I checked the record. Oyer did recommend reassessing all 40 federal death sentences, while Biden ultimately commuted 37. DOJ confirms that. Roof and Bowers were actually left off Biden's final list. Oyer's recommendation for Roof, however, is documented. The evidence actually shows Republicans have legitimate grounds to question that judgment, especially where victims received relatively little consideration. But Oyer's refusal to discuss confidential recommendations is not proof of misconduct. The strongest counterargument is that clemency exists precisely to reconsider extreme sentences. Still, I believe Republicans are right to demand transparency and accountability. Do you agree? Like, subscribe, and share your opinion for more bold commentary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate all of you being here today, witnesses taking your time to be in front of us. Before I start, I want to say thank you to Attorney General Ashcroft for being here today and your service to our country, both as Attorney General and as a United States Senator. And also thank you for your kind words about Senator Graham. Really appreciate it. Mrs. Boss, thank you for sharing your story, reliving the worst day in your life, being willing to tell your story so that people hear it. Really appreciate it, and I'm so sorry for your loss. We're going to talk a little bit in a second about people needing to meet with survivors, which I completely agree with, and victims. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that when someone is killed at the hands of an illegal alien, that their representation in Congress, senator, congressman, should meet with that family?
Absolutely. Of course.
It's my understanding that there are many angel families that cannot get meetings with their senators. Have you heard that?
Absolutely. It happens all the time. As a matter of fact, the lovely and kind words from Senator Durbin, I am his constituent. This is the first time I've ever spoken with him. I haven't spoken with him. He spoke to me.
Well, I hope, and I'm sure that, I heard actually the ranking member yesterday talk about the need for the Attorney General to meet with victims, which I support, and I certainly am hopeful that he will, and others, will meet with you.
Yes.
So, Sheridan Gorman and other names need to be said, and I think the accountability that we have in this room for other people, we should be able to have it for this body as well. So I certainly hope that you get your face-to-face meeting that you deserve.
I would hope so. We've had several laws introduced, legislation introduced in this last session that have been completely ignored. And there hasn't been any way to really get in and talk to anybody, especially those who are opposed to those legislations for whatever reason.
Well, thank you so much for elevating your voice. Ms. Bazinski, am I saying that right?
It's Bensky, yeah.
Okay, gosh, I'm going to have to try. I am so sorry for everything that you've been through, and thank you for your courage, for being here today and being able to elevate your voice. I completely support your quest to be able to be heard, to obviously for victims to be protected, and for us to pursue every lead possible. And, you know, I do believe after my conversations with the Assistant Attorney General that he is going to pursue those. Let me ask you this. Were you asked in the previous administration, did you ever have an opportunity to sit down with the then Attorney General, Merrick Garland?
We did not, but there were active investigations going on because of Ghislaine Maxwell's hearing.
So, but did you ever have a face-to-face with him?
No.
No. Did y'all request a face-to-face?
This was before a time that I was comfortable coming forward. It was just this last September that a group of us felt like we had met each other, and a huge part of this has been finding the collective voice of a sisterhood and understanding that we weren't isolated in these experiences.
Absolutely. And let me ask you this. Did you, was there ever, because I know that my colleague, Senator Blackburn, really wanted to make sure that you all had an opportunity to tell your story. Mm-hmm. Are you aware of any Senate hearings that were held under the previous administration that tried to
I don't personally
bring
have
light
that
to this
information because, again, I just came forward really in September.
Well, thank you for coming forward.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mrs. Oyer, obviously, are you cutting people off right on time today?
What?
Are you cutting people off right on time today, or are people getting to go way over?
I've been too liberal, but go ahead.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead and ask one more question.
Just let me ask one more question, please, sir. I appreciate it. After you were fired from DOJ, you had an independent media company and a Substack platform, and you had the Lawyer Aura brand name and the hoodies that said hardwired to stand up to bullies. I'm wondering, it's my understanding that as a pardon attorney during the Biden administration, you recommended actual commutations for Daniel Troyer and Ricardo Sanchez Jr., who were sentenced to death in 2009 after executing a family of 4 on the side of a highway. Is that true?
Ma'am, I think you were not in the room when several of your colleagues asked me about those recommendations.
But this is my turn to ask a question. So is that true?
I said then remains, which is that I'm not able to talk about the clemency advice that I provided to the White House because of
Well, the victims included a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old boy who died while cradled in the arms of their mother, who was trying to shield them. Those 2 little boys were shot 10 times, and their mother was shot 11 times, and their father was shot 5 times. So I appreciate the grace on getting to go over, but that doesn't sound like to me that you stand up to bullies. It sounds like to me you stand with them.